veins. I've been driving this train, years in this lane. There's no stopping this flame, cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capping space. I won't stop till I hear him say,
woo, 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 woo. It is hot around the country. Oh my goodness, it's sizzling. You could cook an egg on the sidewalk. Is that the old saying, El Cid?
Either the sidewalk or on the hood of the car.
Yes, all of that. Hot where you are. What's it doing there? How's the weathering?
Shoot, it is 94 degrees, but it feels like 104 in the shade.
Ooh, yikes. We've been having low 90s here in Detroit, Michigan. We've been having low 90s and people are passing out. I was at work the other day and my coworker was just about to pass out, started seeing white spots, had to sit him down, get, something cold to drink, something cold to press on the forehead. Take it seriously, folks. Do not be out here stressing in this heat. Drink plenty of fluids. Eat fruits that have a lot of fluids in them, like watermelon, for example. What would you suggest?
Anything along those lines, any of your melons, your cantaloupe, anything that has a lot of water in it would definitely help hydrate you.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, definitely that, because we want everybody to make it through the summer, right?
The only spots we want to see is on this TV screen in spotting who's acting foolish.
Yeah, because we can talk about it. I was going to ask you the question, who is going to get the heat today?
I got a few people getting the heat today.
Got a few people.
I got Monica and Sarah.
You got Monica and, well, wait a minute. What about your boy Tony?
Oh, he getting it too, but he a little mild. He ain't act all the way the fool. He was very dismissive.
Yeah, he was, because even, we're going to talk about his body language, even his body language and his tone of voice. I was like, wow, this does not sound and look like the person that says they're looking for a wife, they're looking for a relationship. He just turns off to people. The minute they say one thing that he slightly disagrees with, it becomes a mountain instead of a molehill.
Yeah, he's not looking for a wife. He's looking for someone that he can control and mend to what he wants.
Oh, that's what you feel. Well, I'm going to say this. I feel like Tony, and I could be wrong, I feel like Tony, I'm kind of rooting for him now after this episode. I'm kind of rooting for him, and I'm kind of thinking that he's going to pull this off in the next few weeks. He's going to pull it off. She's going to give him more things to do and not to do, and I just feel like he's going to pull it off. I really do.
I don't know. We'll see. He ain't doing very well this episode.
Nah, yeah, he kind of fell through this episode, but I'm still rooting for him. I actually am rooting for him. And we got one dater who actually did very, very well. You know who that is?
Yes, gold star for Harold.
Gold star for Harold. Harold, I mean, like, Harold, he's dating with intention. That's all I can say. He's dating with intention, and when he meets a young lady that he likes, he goes all in. He goes all in.
He does. He's like, I don't want to waste your time. Please don't waste my time. He really had a good date. He had, a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction, but
why not a belt, Harold? Why not a belt?
Because a belt is probably restrictive, and if Harold has how can you say it, occupational stuff with his hands, then sometimes a belt with a buckle could be a little not tedious, but it could be a little sometimes challenging. And a belt, you got to tie it tight. The suspenders just hang.
Is that what Harold likes about those suspenders? Because I can never figure that out. He likes the suspenders, you think, because of the little bit of gut that he has, and it kind of
Right.
more
Suspenders.
flexible.
I ain't gotta cut off my blood circulation around my belly with suspenders.
Well, yeah, you know, and what is it? I think Santa. I think he wears suspenders, doesn't he?
Right, exactly. Harold, I'm with you. Get your suspenders.
Get your suspenders. Well, Harold is on a date uh with his girl. I'm gonna call. I came up with the name for her. She's gonna be our Singapore Amber.
Oh, okay.
She's gonna be our Singapore Amber, and of course, you know, our Black Amber is Texas Amber, right? So this is Singapore Amber and Harold. They're headed to. They just went, by the way, and they edited this out. Apparently, these are things that we did not see. They went and had a classic Singapore fare to eat. So they're well fed, and now they're on their way to the second part of the date. And Harold decides to keep it a secret what they're going to be doing on the date, but he's hoping that he can really connect with Singapore Amber. Okay. What did you think about their conversation in the car?
Um, I think he was very nice in asking her to hold her hand. I think she confused me though with the whole hand holding because I was expecting like the first gal that he
Mm-hmm.
went out with. You know,
Oh,
I was expecting, her to say something like that, but she's like, "Hey, holding his hands is like holding a sponge," and I was like, "I really don't like holding the sponge when I'm washing dishes." So,
mm-hmm.
but
But
she said it feels nice.
she said it, and I'm assuming she meant a dry sponge. I don't know, because maybe right now they're in the car. Let's picture this. They're in the car on their way to the second part of the date. Let's say the driver has that AC pumping on high. So it's cool now. So maybe his hands aren't sweaty like he's had this problem before. We noticed that when he held the last lady's hand, she didn't like holding hands with him because she said his hands were clammy. But I suspect, now this is me, I suspect the first lady match that he dated, I suspect that not only did she not like his wet, clammy hands, I suspect she did not like his chubby hands.
Probably, but this young lady seems to like him just fine. She's
And she
dating with intent.
she's dating with intention, and she's looking for a solid man on the inside, and she thinks that he's quite attractive. She said he's like a, well, we'll get to that in a second. He's like we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in a second. But anyway, I noticed all the couples love to take their first date selfie. So they took their selfie, and I thought they looked really cute. They're both smiling. So I really think Amber has started to warm up to this man. What do you think?
She definitely has. She's saying, positive things. She's curious about him in a positive way.
Hmm.
She's not trying to be, you know, trying to, put him in a checkbox kind of list. So she's
Hmm.
taking him as he is and say, okay, can I manage with this? Can I date
Hmm.
this man? Can I look at him for long periods of time? So she is definitely dating with intention.
Exactly. I think she is. She's dating with intention, and she is not allowing that. Maybe some people don't like heavier set people, chubby people. She's not letting any of that bother her. She's into it. Uh, okay, wait a minute. Let's see. I got a question here. Marcel asked, "Where is the episode?" Oh, it's on TLC. Marcel, it's on TLC on Sunday evenings at 10 o'clock. We are covering episode 6 right now. So you could find that on TLC. And I don't know if you have Philo like I do, but I watch almost everything that I cover except for the Bravo shows. I watch it all on Philo. It's got like, I don't know, I think something like 80 different networks, cable networks. So it's really cool. Does that answer your question, Marcel? Let me know. So anyway, so the two of them, they're going out to fly kites, and they get the kites together. Harold is this is one of his things. So Harold, I think, would you agree or disagree with me on this thing? I think that Harold seems to be very detail oriented.
Oh heck yeah! Based on his job too, as he does compliance stuff for nuclear plants, he is
Hmm.
definitely And if anyone watches like Love on the Spectrum, Australia has another young man. Um, And he is very much meticulous, just like Harold. So I can see him, very detail oriented, and all his patents too. Harold tells us he has several patents out there. So definitely he is detail oriented.
Yes, because the wrong move at that power plant could mean somebody's not going home tonight.
Right.
Yeah, so he's very detail oriented, and I think that Amber, she gets it. This one, Marcel, they're in Singapore. So he's dating a woman and they're in Singapore. She's originally from China, but she came to Singapore to get her education, and she's quite excited about that. Um, so they're having really good conversation. Harold begins to tell her, he says, I've got something important to tell you, and I just want you to know this. And Harold talks to us before he says this, and he says, I need a person who's going to like me for me, all of me, and accept all of me. So he tells her that he's on the spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
and she takes it. How do you think she took it, Elsie?
She took it well. She said she doesn't know much about it. She does, know there is, a spectrum in autism. She just doesn't, know where he falls in.
Mm-hmm.
And, Harold, she said, unless he told her, she wouldn't have known.
That's what got me when she said that. And I thought too, because he does seem to be, I think Harold has been able to be himself, even though he was a little bit thrown off by the first match that he had that really wasn't interested in him for whatever reason. I think with this match, I think with Amber, he's able to be himself. He feels more confident each time, and she smiles at him. She gets his jokes. She laughs at him. And like she said, they have a lot of things in common, and they both love art. We know that, even though he doesn't like the cats.
Yeah, he didn't like the cats on that first date, but yes, they have a lot in common, and I like that she just takes him as he is and say, will this fit in my life? That is
Yes.
what I truly like about her. She's like, can he fit into my life? Can I fit into his? But I think, he explained it very well. He processes things differently.
Right. That I can relate to. I'm also neurodivergent as ADHD, so we do process things differently, and some people don't get that. And I've dated men that don't get that, and I quickly tend to just close that off because it's not going to work. If you can't accept me, like Harold says, for who I am, all of me, then you're just not really a good fit. And I'm glad that both of these two young people are. And I had to put this up. This is Harold. They're flying the kite. Harold's trying to run with the kite in one hand, and then his other hand. What's he doing? Sid, what do you think he's doing?
Holding them pants up, Harold. No, it's a family television show. You cannot let them pants fall.
Again, I still say Harold should have put on a belt. What do you guys say? Should Harold have at least put on a belt, since he knew he didn't want to wear his suspenders on this date, because the dating expert has been telling him, Dolly has been telling him that, it's not trending in Singapore to wear suspenders.
What is trending is to keep your pants up. So the suspenders got a trend, okay?
I also like here in this photograph, we can see that Singapore Amber, has on a nice flowy dress. We see her smile more this episode. She really seems to get into him. And so they're sitting down to talk. And look at this beautiful backdrop of Singapore. Isn't that gorgeous?
Absolutely beautiful setting. And that's one of their regular parks.
Wow, just a regular park? Wow.
Yeah.
That is an amazing view of the city where they're sitting. But they sit down to talk, and, like I said, Harold's telling her about his autism, and she says, oh, okay, well, you know what? Here's the thing, Harold. You got a few roadblocks to get through. First there's my family, then there's my friends, my close circle of friends, then there's my family in China, and then last but not least, you got to get past my ex-boss. What did you think about that list?
I mean, she's telling him, she's giving him the checklist. You know, Harold does well with a checklist. She is telling
Hmm.
him this is the path, and that's exactly how Harold saw it, not as a roadblock, but this is the path forward with a future together.
Right. She's letting him know what her expectations are. She's being very clear. And I like what you said. He probably does do better with checklists. What makes you say that, though?
Because everything he's told, he kind of like checks off boxes. He looks like he checks off boxes, like, you know, show him, you know, with the hand, you know, just gently touching the elbow. He checked that off his box during the date. You know, he just, every time I see Harold, I feel like he's making a concerted effort to actually say, you know, do and say exactly what he is taught right away.
Right away, right away. Guys, what do you think? You guys that are watching this at home, do you feel like Harold did very well on this date? Is there anything you would add to it that, you know, you might, if you were giving, if we were talking to Harold and we say, Harold, listen, just a couple of little tips for the next date. What would you suggest, Elsid?
For the next date, I would definitely still make it active, but not running across the field. Because
Like,
she
mhm.
seems to like an active date.
Okay. Like for an example, like what could they do? Maybe go for a walk after they've had a nice dinner or lunch.
To me, dinner and lunch seem to be just typical. It's like
Hmm.
they got to do something, and
Hmm.
I would, you know, technically, I would even like them to go where
Hmm.
Sarah went on her date.
Uh, the red light district.
Because anywhere that has like the shopping district where it has all those shopping areas, she could show him Singapore and the arts and crafts and different things. So if we're going for a walk, I don't want it to just be in the park. Let's walk
Mm.
where she can teach him about you know, different things in
Oh,
the Singapore culture. Go to
in
the
the
farmers
culture,
market,
yeah.
you know, that kind of stuff. What will our day to day look like if we were to be together?
Oh, I like that. I like that. I like the idea of going, like you said, to
Hey,
teach him more about the day to day life in Singapore, because we know from the beginning, Harold has said that he is interested if he finds the right woman and he wants to get married, he wants to start a family, and he's also told us he's willing to move to Singapore.
he is, and that's awesome. That is awesome that he's willing to move. You know, because you know, when I was dating, I would totally go grocery shopping as one date because I need to see how you eat, how
Oh,
you spend.
yeah.
That's a simple enough date in order to get to know a person more. And if we go to your local grocery store, I get to see anybody who hiding in the bushes watching you, or you know, any kind of, you know, other girlfriends popping out of the bushes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To go to Africa, she agrees with you. She says, Harold is doing a great job. He seems to make a conscious effort to keep his thoughts organized and remembers as much as possible. Yeah. And I struggle with that too. So, yeah, I saw that he really leaned into the date. He did the physical touching, the contact, but then he also made sure to have those crucial conversations that sometimes some of us, myself included, sometimes we like to avoid things like, telling people something that might make them run from us. What else? It do you feel like that's something that's kind of true of many of us?
Yeah, we do. We do kind of try and, you know, keep things, you know, close to the vest. But again, we gotta make a conscious effort to tell people early enough that we're not wasting time. Because if Harold had said that and she wasn't into it, it's best to know on the first date rather than, you know, while he's on his return on the plane heading home.
Right, right, right. Like some of us thought, uh the young lady from the first season, we thought she kind of had kind of ghosted him or dropped him, but we found out, and you go back to the first episode where we covered this, what the true reason really was. But
Right.
anyway, I was watching the bonus, by the way, El said, I was watching this bonus scene of them. Oh, I'm sorry, that's wrong. I was watching the bonus scene that comes right here. At the end. So we don't see, I don't know how this works. I guess like TLC does a regular episode, and I believe it's the next day they do the more episode, like more to love, I think they call it. And it's the same episode, episode 6, but it added this extra scene, and we see Harold and Singapore Amber in the car after the date. They're holding hands, they're both smiling and grinning. He walks her to the door, and as he walks her to the door, his, I guess his hotel, so his door, she is willing and able to give him a hug. And she, one of the things that Amber has told us is that typically on first dates, they don't do all this hugging and holding hands, but she has made an exception for Harold because she feels like since he's traveled so far and he has only a short period of time, they need to get certain things out the way and see if they're comfortable. What did you think of that?
Right. She said it has to be a escalated process because, or accelerated process, because he is only here for a limited amount of time. She, is like, we don't hold hands on the first date. And I was like, okay. This is what I love with these dating shows, is learning the cultures and learning how the cultures date. And if holding hands is not acceptable, I want the person to tell us, I'm making an exception for this show. This is not what you expect if you went to Singapore on your own.
Right, exactly. Because you wouldn't, you'd have to amend yourself to their customs. And I absolutely agree. I think that's absolutely right. I'm glad she let us know that. And
she also let us know she's an only child, and her parents are very invested in her getting married and having kids.
Yes, indeed. And you know what? I can relate as an only child myself. I can totally relate to all of that, right? Like, it puts an extra, it puts, I don't want to say burden, but maybe it feels like an extra responsibility because, some of our parents want to have grandchildren while they're still young enough to play with them and all of those types of things. I liked it. I liked that she told us a little bit about herself being an only child and how she felt about it. To go to Africa says it appears that she initiated the hug because of her placement of her arms. She appears to be comfortable with him. In the bonus episode, he did actually ask her if he could hug her, and then, or no, you're right. I'm sorry. He asked her, could he go on a second date? I stand corrected. He asked her, could he go on a second date? And she said yes. And she said, can I hug you? So you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And so Harold did really well this week. We have to agree on that. I think Harold did the best out of all of our daters.
Heck yeah, he got a second date.
He got a second date. And he's actually feeling confident. One of the things, last but not least, he said about this, he says he's all in. He says he doesn't care about being hurt in the past. He's all in. He's putting all his efforts and all his eggs into this basket with Amber.
Yeah, Harold did the best this week. I'm excited to see how this moves forward because she's telling him, she's telling him it can move forward.
Mm-hmm. Right. We're giving him that checklist of the people that he had to meet and he had to get their approval. And that's another thing, like culturally, that in other cultures, we used to have it more so here in the US, but in other cultures, they have kept that need to meet the father, the mother, the parents, the friends, and really get to know this person, because I think that all of us have different sides that we show to different people. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think so.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Aubrey? Did you ask me a question? Sorry, my son walked in.
Oh, no. I was just saying to end on Harold. I was just saying that she asked, Amber wanted him to meet her family, her core friends, her extended family, and then her ex supervisor or boss. And I was saying that here in the United States, we've kind of gotten away from that. People now meet folks and they're dating, for 2-3 years, and they've never met their parents. They've never met their core friends. And I was saying that I feel like there's a side of us, not that you change your personality, but there's different sides of us. And I think if you see people in different environments with their family and people that know them, you will get to see nuances in them that you would never see on a date with just you and that person.
Yeah, I think we do put the importance, and some cultures as well, importance on family. Like family should be like the last, they should be the apex of the mountain that you're climbing. But definitely friends, and the ex boss I see as more of a mentor. I had an ex boss that was a mentor to me,
Mentor, yeah, that's what I
and
figured she meant by that when she said
yeah,
that.
and
You know,
he was a big brother, a football player, former
ooh,
football player, and if had a date I wanted, to be scrutinized, for
yes,
him to
there you
walk
go.
in like, what you doing? I walk in like D-Bone. I would definitely use
Exactly.
him.
Yeah, I think you know what, and this here's my thought, and this goes for myself included in the past. I think that more women would be happier and more successful with dating for with purpose if you're dating for long-term relationship or marriage if you allow this man to meet like you said the various groups and maybe the parents could be the last but I don't know. Like I'm thinking too, sometimes they can meet the parents if you get serious enough and they don't have to be so late in the relationship because your parents can peep some things that with their wisdom and their experience that you may not see. And if they bring it to the fore privately with you one on one, maybe we wouldn't waste so much time on some of these bozos.
Yeah, but we need to know also for each person how much weight does the family hold, because we do know
Ah,
that there are people that bring every and anybody around their family.
okay.
Okay,
Okay. Okay. Now that's important. I like that. That's important. Okay. So you're saying some people would just bring any and everybody around, huh?
just to make you feel special, so that like Harold's, pants almost hit the floor, so pants hit the floor in order, to gain access. Some people fool you with thinking that meeting appearance means something heavy. You also need to know, where does that fall in that person's level of importance.
Right. That's a good point because I have heard of men dating back in college. I have heard of men that did that. They would take people home, women home, girls home, and their mothers were like, "Oh my God!" They would call out the last girlfriend's name, and oh, this is not her. This is someone else. So you
Or
knew they just had a revolving door of people.
they didn't have a real family that didn't call no names.
Yep. Right. 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 You know when they call you honey, everybody's honey. All the girls he brings home. Okay, honey, she's nice, honey. Honey is wonderful. Right. I am too. I'm very glad that she is honest and that um getting back to what to go to Africa was saying that he seems to be growing on her and the Chinese are very honest about their thoughts and feelings unlike some folks in the US. They aren't always PC or politically correct or diplomatic according to our standards. I like that. I like that because I think on an intimate level we need not be so PC. Otherwise, you're not going to get to know the real person,
And
right?
Harold is like that too. He can be honest. He can say what he would like, and I don't think she would take it personally because she would just appreciate his honesty.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I absolutely agree. So we move on from Harold, and our next dater is this guy right here, Mr. Tony.
Mm,
Mr. I want a thick woman with a tiny waist and hair past her shoulders. The longer the better. Because I feel like women with long hair, they take better care of themselves. That's Tony, right?
yeah, he wants somebody with hair, and he ain't got none. I mean, really, his hair is tattooed. I'm not bald shaming. I'm not doing that. But Tony's very, very particular, and it
Yes,
seems
he
like he
is.
doesn't want his woman to be too particular. I mean,
Yeah.
really.
He wants her to be fit, and yet we saw with his shirt off, he's actually got quite a bit of a gut there that he's carrying around with him. So, and that exercise that he was doing, I personally could tell he does not do that on a regular basis.
Mm.
So, so he's back in. This is in Brazil. We're in Brazil now, and he's back in the office with Luisa. And Luisa is telling him, "I've got something I want you to do. I want you to sit down. I'm going to try something different with you because you said in the past you dated women and you were dating them. You found out too late for just their looks because once you got deeper in, you realized their personality, your personality didn't go together, right? So I want
Mm-hmm.
you, so I want you to put on this blindfold, and then your date is also going to be blindfolded. And what we're going to do is you're going to ask questions, so that way you're not just going by their physical appearance. You're really actually trying to get to know them to see what you had in common, right? What did you think of that idea, just off the rip?
She had a good thought for him. Since he falls in love with his eyes, take away that sense. Take away one sense, we're hoping other senses are heightened. His sense of
Yes.
smell, well, he ain't gonna taste nothing, but and his
Not
hearing.
yet.
Is he
Yes.
going to listen better because he's no
Ooh.
longer, behind rose-colored glasses, falling in love with the visuals?
Okay.
And this
Yeah.
is Miss Touchy Feely right here.
She
This
was. She was. I was like, I just couldn't understand what, except to when she got to the last part of what she said. I felt like he should have liked her. He loved her long hair. He did actually touch her hair because he said, well, what is it? Bald head, bald, no hair, don't care. Or he said, or is it long hair, don't care? And she said, oh yeah, I've got really long hair. And he went right in and touched her hair and everything. So I was like, okay, this is
but
gonna be a match.
Tony, think about tattoos.
Ooh, I don't think I heard him say anything before about whether he did or did not like women with tattoos.
Exactly. He doesn't have any.
Oh, okay. So
None
you
that
think
we
that?
see. Well, we saw him in shorts. None that we've seen. The only tattoo, forgive me, Tony, I'm sorry. The only tattoos he has is the tattoos of the hair on his head. He tattooed the hairline, so it looks like he has a shadow on his
Yeah,
bald head.
right. Elsie, Tony, poor Tony. Elsie is just not going to give you any break. She is not going to let you forget that you have that hair tattooing and that you were so vain that you had to tattoo the hair. But I guess it's better than spray paint, though. I mean, we see some of the brothers with the spray paint on the head, so I
Or the
don't know.
black shoe polish of
Black
old.
shoe polish. That was put a ring on a couple seasons ago, I think. You guys know who I'm talking about too. But yeah, so she's touchy feely. But what happens is they talking about what they like and don't like. He asked her, well, how long has it been since she's been in a relationship? And she says 5 years. He said,
Mhm.
whoa, 5 years, why so long? And so I take it you've been celibate for 5 years. And what did she say? Elsie?
She said the gentlemen in Brazil are, not much into commitment, so you just go with the flow. So when he
Mm-hmm.
said, "So you haven't had any intimacy with anyone for 5 years," she's like, "Ah!" And he just looked away and told the producers, "Since you're not in a relationship, you should be celibate." And when the producer asked Tony, "Well, how long have you been celibate?" he refused to answer. See, that is
Exactly.
also why I can't stand Tony.
The
The
double
double
standard.
standard. Thank
Double
you.
standard. And you know what? And that is a very much a double standard, because as soon as he said it, I thought to myself, yeah, when is the last time you've had intimate relations too? And like you said, he would not answer it for the producer. So I felt like he told on himself. That meant that he could have had intimate relations a week ago, a day ago, the same day. We don't know, because
Exactly.
he's not stick
Exactly.
he's not sticking to his own rule for himself, though, is he?
He is not. And I'm like, okay, you want here that you don't have. Now you want someone who hasn't been, sleeping around, which you have. I just was like, Tony, you just want your complete opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
But the long this time come with a body count, Tony. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's one of those kind of guys too. Like at his big old age, almost 40, he probably is still trying to get women to tell him what their body count is, as if that's something that he's gonna release to them. It wouldn't make a difference if he's had 100, 200 women, but he wants their body count to be like maybe one or two. Like what? Get over yourself. Get over yourself. But yeah, he didn't like that. He didn't like that about her. But I thought to myself, let me ask you this. Do you think that he would have liked her if they had not been blindfolded? Would she have been his type? Minus
No,
you don't think so? Why? And
no.
why? What part of her?
The
What is it?
long hair definitely. I don't know if he's kind of partial to a
Gingers?
redhead. I don't know
Yeah.
how he feels about tattoo sleeves.
Hmm.
I just don't think that. She certainly meets his body type. He likes voluptuous, which she is. She is a.
Yes.
I loved her figure and shape. I said, Louisa, this is the first gal. We off to a fabulous start. Then she
Mm-hmm.
started touching up on him. She initiated touching up on him.
Mm-hmm. He seemed
Um,
to like that at first.
right, but how much would he want a lady that's that forward? So
Oh.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there's some things that Mr. Conservative Tony. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, to go to Africa has a good point about the 3M, saying that perhaps he's misogynistic, manipulative, and MAGA. Yeah, that's what I thought too, especially him being in Florida. I was like, oh my God, oh my God. Florida, you might as well say Mississippi, basically.
Mm.
So that was my take on him on that. But then he met other women. This one is Layla, and I thought Layla was cute, but I don't know what it was about her that he didn't like.
She had said something that he was kind of turned off by, and she was turned off by him. When she asked him,
Oh, when
what are
she
you looking
said
for?
she's a digital content creator. I'm sorry. When she said she
Right,
was a digital content creator, it was like he was like all of a sudden his body language changed and he swerved the seat around. So like, yeah, nah, that's not it.
right. And then she was turned off when he kept saying, body type for what he wanted in a wife. She said he was totally talking only about physical
Physical.
appearance.
Right.
And she had the short hair. When she heard he wanted long hair, her eyebrow went up. We saw that past the mask.
Yeah, we did. We did. And you're right, because she did have short hair. She did have a short haircut. It was cute, but
Yes,
he stuck on this uh ideal of a woman that she has to have long hair, blah blah blah. We ain't gonna talk about his head stampings no more. We gonna move
right.
on. And then now this one, I gotta ask a question. I hope it's not gonna be offensive. The third lady that he met blindfolded was Gabrielle. Gabrielle, when I first saw her, I had to keep looking at her neck. And do you know why I had to look at her neck?
I think what you're alluding to, but no, I saw Gabriella as the staple Brazilian gal that he is probably looking for.
Exactly. Physically, yeah, but that voice was kind of deep. That voice was kind of deep, and I was kind of a little concerned at first. I'm like, her voice was really deep. It was really deep and low to me.
No,
And
I didn't have that
mhm,
inclination with Gabriella. Maybe I have rose-colored glasses like Tony usually has.
yeah,
I was just caught up. She is
she's
gorgeous.
gorgeous. She got a
Woo.
beautiful figure, but that voice, like now, I'm gonna say this: if I had been Tony, that voice alone would have been like, okay, next. Her voice was really deep. I had to keep looking at her neck, and I'm like, are they trying to play us? Is she trans? Nothing wrong with being trans, but I don't think that Tony is the type of man that wants a trans woman. But that actually is. You're right. That's what I was kind of alluding to.
Yeah, I
But
don't think TLC wants that kind of
mhm.
liability. I don't
Okay.
think.
Oh, finally they care about something. They don't have to feed you, but they got to at least give you the gender that you want. Okay. Okay.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, they don't have to feed you. They can ply you with bunch and oodles of alcohol, but nah, they're not gonna give you the wrong gender. Okay, so we got past that. Well, one of the things that Gabrielle said was that she asked him, does he like kids? He said yes. Does he have any kids? He said no. Well, and then he asked her the same questions, and she said, "Well, yeah, I have a 1.5-year-old daughter." And that was when the body language, once again, he closed himself off.
I thought he closed himself before that when she said she was a DJ and he said I don't like the clubs,
Oh
music
yeah,
too loud. I
yeah.
was like,
You're
you
right.
sound
You're
like
right.
my grandpa.
Yeah, he did. She looked at him like her eyebrows went up once again. Her eyebrows went up, and she's like, "Well, dang, you kind of too young to be such an old fogey." But I did get his point though. One of the things he said also, I don't think he liked either one of those things, but he said this. He said, in a confessional, I don't think that being a DJ and being at parties late at night goes well with being, a mother. And I kind of have to kind of agree with them. I didn't think like
Well,
the DJs that I know that travel for work and go all over the world. I mean, and she's a single mom, so I'm trying to figure out. who's keeping the child? Her mother, the grandmother?
Probably the family. You know, they're very family oriented society, so somebody in her family could be keeping her child. But again, for me, that whole trope of, what job, single mothers are going to do a job to feed their child, whatever it is.
Absolutely. Oh,
So
absolutely.
so the DJ thing, I didn't think anything of it other than she is gorgeous. I said she, depending on her DJ skills, she is gorgeous to look at, and she would be, of high, she'd be highly requested, to be a DJ at events and clubs like that. And she seems like, the way she said it, she has a standing, time at a club every week or every day. She looks like she has like a steady club gig.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah, with those looks, and like you said, she is. I won't take anything away from her. She's very beautiful. I thought she was very beautiful, and I thought, like you said, really the what he would probably think of as the um, quintessential Brazilian woman. And because when she got up to leave, well, you can't see it because of this comment and whatnot, but let's just say she was, the body was bodying, and it looked like maybe a BBL in the back. I don't know. What did you what did you think?
it was the bump. She is quintessentially the Brazilian ladies figure, that she has the long hair. She is gorgeous. I
Hmm.
just don't know how Tony feels about those tattoos on the arms. I have a suspicion. I don't know Tony. I have a
Yeah.
suspicion that is not going to be fully attractive to him. Quarter of a sleeve, and I don't know how he feels about tattoos.
Yeah, we get back with us, Tony. We need to know. Inquiring minds here need to know: do you or do you not like tattoos on the women that you want to get, you know, become close to? You got to let us know, Tony, because we have no idea. And right now, tattoos are so big. I had a friend of mine tell me, I had to get over because I said, "Oh no, I don't want a guy with tattoos. I don't. I really don't." Um, I have some feelings about that. I have really strong feelings about that. And he was like, "Oh no, you got to get with it. You got to get with it." Well, I don't know. I'll just never be with it because I don't think, now maybe one or two tattoos I could overlook and say, that's okay. But all this stuff, like you said, like the sleeves, and now I'm seeing men in the streets with their tattooed legs. I'm like, what? Why would you tattoo your leg? Like, really? That's just me.
Well,
I
many
don't know.
people, I need to know what is behind that, because many people I know who do that see their body as a canvas in order to tell their story. And for me, it's how that story is written. So I can't say, I prefer if, it's all over, but it's hidden when you're wearing certain
Clothes.
clothing.
Clothes, yeah.
Um, but I would need to know, when is enough. Are you done, or are you going to completely cover yourself? Because that's my thing with anyone with tattoos. Where is done? Because
And that's the thing. They say that a lot of people, and it's believable, they become addicted to getting themselves tattooed. So, yeah, okay.
I would have to say, if you go above your shoulders with the tattoos, we may have a problem. If
Oh,
you you know
neck tattoos, face tattoos, all them
right,
tattoos.
I can't hang around. Please, I'm gonna let you know. I need to know when is enough, and I gotta let you know my deal breaker. Once you get above what a collared shirt is going to cover, I
Hmm.
may have to be out of there.
You sounded very military-ish right there.
Very
They don't want to see nothing above a collar or below the short
the
sleeve
wrist.
uniform. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think they kind of apparently gotten more lenient with that, because I've seen plenty of people in uniform now that do have tattoos. They have them below the
And I
sleeve.
would I would harness to say that they had it before they enlisted and not necessarily after, but I don't know. I
Hmm.
definitely don't know. But yeah,
No.
I need to know his thoughts on a
Mhm.
woman with that many tattoos. These ladies, all the tattoos were tasteful. I'm not taking anything away from their tattoos. I'm just saying, the way Tony is conservative, I don't
Mhm.
know if his wife having a tattoo sleeve is in
Mhm.
his color wheel.
Mhm. And you guys tell us. I mean, what are your viewpoints on dating someone that has tattoos? Are you neutral about it? Are you you know it's okay? let us know what is it that you feel about the tattoos, right?
Right.
I would really like to know because honestly, I'm just not down with it.
I don't have any. I just think of when I get old and wrinkly, what is it going to look like? I mean, I'll have an ice
That's
cream.
what
Is
I
it going to
think
look
too.
melted by the time I'm 80?
Oh God.
Plus, I've researched everything. There are studies about the ink used, and depending on the ink, that does stay. Some of it stay within your body. So when people say their tattoo is fading, it's not just that the skin layers are
Oh.
going away. It's being absorbed within their body. So
Oh,
there
I
are,
never
or
thought of that. Like perms, like relaxers that they're taking off the
exactly.
market, and they telling us, as Black women, that don't use these some of these perms and relaxers because they're finding out now they cause certain types of cancers, and they make you more prone to fibroids in your uterus. Oh my goodness.
Right. So that's, I'm like, there are ink that is organic that does not do that. So I definitely would
Mm.
tell anybody who's, doing ink, thinking about ink or whatever, certainly ask, what type of ink do you use? Other than the equipment, that ink is on your body permanently. So, I had a long, hard look at this, but I almost got a tattoo in my 20s, but I was going to get a job that required no body markings
None,
whatsoever.
none.
And
Well, how are they gonna know if it was somewhere where, like you
send you
said, you
for a
normally go?
physical for you to be
Ooh,
documented. All your, I mean, they send you to a doctor for a physical, and any
ooh,
scars or anything on your skin would be documented. So again,
wow. I'm curious what type of job this was, but I'll leave that alone. But yeah, there are positions. Like I said, my daughter, when she went into the military, that's how I know that. Like I said, you could not, especially because she was going in with officer training, that you could
hmm
not have tattoos, like you said, above the collar. That would be the neck, the face. You could not have them if they show below a uniform short sleeve, which gives you a little bit, like you could probably have one right here on your shoulder, I guess, but not anything else. And then, of course, your slacks cover your legs. So I guess leg tattoos actually would be okay.
yeah, once it could be covered.
Yeah, they could be covered. So, but I don't know.
But
Just
Tony
my,
had
my
3 dates, and he ain't like none of them.
he didn't like none of them. Yeah, to wrap it up with Tony, he did not like any of them. But like I said, if he could have seen Gabriella, uh, I think he would have been all in. You think so?
He could have been, but he's probably seeing in his head she's promiscuous. So, oh no, this one.
Oh, I'm talking about this one right here,
I'm
the one
thinking
that.
Lou. I think
Yeah,
in the kid.
he might feel that, not to cut you off, but he might feel that way because she's a single mom. She had maybe a child. We don't know if she was married and now divorced. We don't know, but he may be thinking, well, you know what? She's a single mom. She's promiscuous.
Not just a single mom, but the child is only a year and a half.
Right.
So the
That's another
last
thing.
relationship was with the
Yeah.
child's father.
Yes. Yes. It was. It absolutely was. And what is the relationship like now that they're co-parenting? Is there a possibility that they could get back together? So all of those things would be going through his mind, I would think.
And he ain't gonna be living in the country, so
Yeah, so yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. And so on to our next dater. That would be this lady right here in the middle, and that is Sarah. And Sarah, we know, has come here from Houston, Texas. She's a creative. She creates art with her jewelry and, blinging out and embroidering certain things that she sells online. And she's totally happy working, remotely at home. Uh, and she's there with her mother, who's to our left, who to me actually looks as young, if not younger, than her. And then she's there with the matchmaker, who is on the right. That's Dolly with the dark hair. Um, and so Dolly tells us that she wanted them to come over to the fruit market and, take a look. She wanted them to try out this very unique fruit that they have only in Singapore, or in, that in that area. And so she said to her, it was important. Now, that's the fruit right behind Dolly with the black and white dress. That's the fruit right there. It's called durian, and it's got a hard shell on the outside, and it doesn't look that attractive. You open it up, it has like a odd smell. Uh, Sarah even said rank. She said it smelled rank. Did you catch that?
Oh yeah, she said rank. She said, but it'll grow on you and become like a good rank. And I'm like, Sarah, what a good rank? I need some examples of what a good rank smell is. I'm not sure I've experienced one of those.
Yeah, I wanted to know too. Now I know what she was saying about something growing on you, especially if it's new, something that you've never had before. Your palate is not accustomed to it. I've had those situations, but when she said it smelled rank, because typically I think for me, I tie the senses of smelling goes right along with the tasting, right?
Right. But could we back up with Sarah? I did a
Okay.
short about her drive over there,
Oh,
where she
okay.
tells her mother about her date with Freddie.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
And Freddie said, she's like, Freddie told me that, he lives with his mom, but most men here, apparently that's how they do it until they get married. And the driver's eye was like, what? It looked like he was like, Freddie lied to you, girl. Freddie lied to you. That's what he looked like. And I had to clip it, and I made a short of that on my page. Whoa, I was like, lies, lies, lies. But that, coming back to the fruit, that looked like, jackfruit. That's what, when I saw it, I was like, ooh, we got jackfruit in in Singapore. I was amazed.
Well, your girl to go to Africa is agreeing the fruit smells so bad that it's actually been banned in Thailand. Is that true? Wow. It's really rank, huh? I
It
just
is.
don't.
It is like a rank toe jam smell. Figure going into the locker
Ooh,
room, the
ooh.
the middle school boys' locker room after football practice.
Hmm.
Yeah, take all of their socks, put it in
Ooh.
one plastic bag, and inhale.
Ooh, I don't think I want to do any of that. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't. But okay. So these ladies, they sit down. And they have a conversation, and Dolly, she's telling us in the confessional, she says, you know what, I really got to get her to get away from those same type of guys she dates in Texas. I want her to look at other traits. All of these, we're seeing this and hearing this a lot with the matchmakers, that everybody needs to get out their own way by just looking at physical. He's 6 feet tall. She's got have hair down to her waistline. All of these ridiculous things that probably only like 5% or 10% of the whole entire population in the world actually have. So, like, why not be more realistic? And she's talking to her, and she tells her right away. She says, that all I see with you are designers. You're just everything from head to toe. So do you want a man? Is your expectation that he would be able to pay for this lifestyle of designer clothes, designer purses, expensive shoes? And our girl, Sarah, she's just saying, well, yeah, basically.
Here's my thing. Holly further goes on to tell her, the fairy tale that you want, it ain't happening. Ain't no fairy tale prince. You need to wake up. And what I need her to do, what I need Sarah to do, please, Sarah, okay? I need you to look at your mother, because you want a relationship like your mom had with your dad. I need you to look back at their relationship, which it alludes to, not that it is, but the way she talked about her childhood. Mom, they probably had a period of growing pains where dad was not the rich, successful man when
Right.
mom met him.
Right.
Okay. So it seems like Sarah, like some people, have the expectation of they're just going to walk into an established man and just be. But the mom had to, work with the dad, probably not on the business, but on making sure home life and other things were well. But then look at mom now. Mom ain't dripping labels everywhere. I mean, her earrings are labeled, but that's it. We're not seeing
Mm-mm.
the logo all over mom's dress. We're not
Mm-mm.
seeing the logo all over mom's purse. I need Sarah. She wants to have what her mother had, but I need her to take a look at her mom. The
Yeah.
subtle makeup, the
Yeah.
hair. Look at
Right.
your mom.
Right. We saw this, and I just got to say this. This is reminding me very much of the situation not too long ago with the Never Ever Mets, right? The young lady that wanted, who was it, Glenn, that she was dating, and she wanted him to do all these fancy things for her. He has to cook for her. He has to wait on her hand and foot. And then she told us in one of her confessionals, I want what my mother has. But when we met her mother, so I was expecting her mother to be real, like a little bit braggadocious, like you said, dripping in labels and all that. Her mother came in and again was a simplistic, beautiful woman that said, yeah, my husband does certain things for me, but you clocked it when you said, Elle said back then, that her mother also probably had make sure that she has the dinner ready and on the table for him. She may be in the bathroom when he's giving him have his bath water ran and giving him a bubble bath and scrubbing his back. Like women from a certain era, they are doing certain things that we today like are not doing. We're not, a lot of women are not willing to do. One of them is cooking. One of them is being courteous and respectful of your man. So I don't really see how she's tying that in, and I'm going to have what my mother had, and she doesn't know the story behind it. But we do find out, she says, her mother says she's spoiled. She says, I'm spoiled. And then uh the she tells her mother, she says, but you did it to me, you spoiled me. What did you think of that?
I think I understand what she's saying. Yes, you spoiled me. You gave me a certain expectation. But that's
Mm-hmm.
why I think as parents, we also have to be realistic with our kids. We have to tell them, hey, dad and I struggled when we first started in our marriage. What you see at the end is where we had
Mm-hmm.
years to perfect this. But
Mm-hmm.
many parents don't tell their kids and they just see the end glow and think it's all sunshine and rainbows, not
Mm-hmm.
realizing there was a storm we had to go through before the
Mm-hmm.
rainbow appeared.
Mm-hmm. I was just on Instagram, uh, and I forget who the couple was. They met and they got married within, let's say, 6 months. My parents, by the way, also did that. But this was a modern couple, a young couple. They got married. Well, they're in their, I think, their early 40s now, because they were like teenagers or early 20s. I think they were still in college. They both finished up. One became a doctor, the other one became an attorney. Sounds like the Huxtable, but it's in real life. And there were so many people that joined in and commented on their reel, and they were saying, not their reel but their post, and they were saying, well, so same thing, me and my wife, we've been together since we were in college, we've been together 20 years and we're only 40, or we've been together 15 years, we're only, let's say 37 or 38. These people that got married, and I know there's one content creator that I very much admire, and she says that those young marriages don't work, but that's not always true. If you're serious minded and you're mature enough, these are couples that built things together. They were in college, they were in school, they were getting their certifications for whatever careers they were going into, and they built up everything together.
Exactly. They built everything together, and no one saw the other person's contribution as less than at all. It's like no one saw that the stay-at-home mom was doing less than no one saw June Cleaver as doing less than Walt. Okay? People understand that each area that they had challenges. You
Mm-hmm.
know, she doesn't see that mom, how did mom have money if mom didn't have her own job or have her own business like she does? What mom had to have a stipend or an allowance from dad? Would she
Mm-hmm.
want that type of life where the well-to-do husband is giving you an allowance or a stipend? She needs to
Mm-hmm.
really flush this out. And I don't think what we've heard from this edited produced show, we're not hearing that Sarah has completely flushed this out.
No, that's a very good point. That's an excellent point. Like her expectations. Okay, so what if, like you said, this wealthy, rich husband, what about this one? Because I hear this a lot from guys. Okay. What about if this wealthy, well to do husband of hers had everything, all the things that she wanted, And but also his expectation in the marriage is, as long as I quietly cheat, you don't say nothing. You let me cheat in peace. What about that?
That is something she would, have to have a conversation with her husband. She might be okay with it, she might not. But, that would be their marriage. I just need Sarah to truly flush out what does it look like, or what are her expectations of the relationship. And I need mom off camera to have the conversation as to this is how things happened. Because even if the dad was well to do, I'm sure the mom had to go through hoops because a mother-in-law would be a gatekeeper of some sorts,
Oh, good
generalizing, of
point.
course.
Good point. Good point. Someone said here, to go to Africa, you have some really excellent comments. Keep them coming. She says she should change her appearance and expectations, or get her an agent to help her get a job at okay, like only fans. She might even be too old to get many of those jobs. Like, I think that sometimes women become delusional, because for a lot of men, once you've hit 30, just it could be even 30, as young as 30, some men are already writing you off because they'd rather have someone young. And a lot of times that's so that they can manipulate, like we see with Tony, what we were saying about Tony earlier. He needs a woman in their 20s because he's in his 30s, and he wants someone whose mind he can mold to the way he wants them to be.
Exactly. And I think there is someone there for Sarah. I'm not saying Sarah doesn't have hope, but Sarah definitely would need someone, of like Freddie, of the art world, who does understand what her business means to her, her creativity, stuff like that, but is a very successful either artist or maybe, someone who manages a gallery for art. She can find someone. I'm just
Mhm.
saying
Oh, absolutely.
her expectations, and I just need to know why Sarah picked Singapore, because Singapore has a lot of rules, and in just her outfit she breaking several of them.
Ooh, okay. I didn't realize that. And then, you know what? I just thought about something. So I got to ask everybody a question in the chat. Is Sarah, in your opinion, is she a sugar baby? Is she really actually looking for a sugar daddy? Because she just clearly wrote Freddie off as being, he's not established enough, he's too young, he's not like the guys back at home in Texas that I typically date. And my thought to that is always, okay, like you said, flush this out a little bit more. So if he's not like the guys you typically date, the guys that you typically date, are any of them interested in marrying you? That's always my question. You dated these guys for like how many years? You've been dating since you were what, 20, 17, 15. You've had 20 years of dating, and it only netted you one proposal. And this was a guy that was old enough and he didn't want any more kids. So, what are we talking about here?
Exactly. Why are we going for the same old, which you clearly stated you don't want anymore? Because they don't want kids and they want a certain level in life. So again, I need Sarah to tell us, has she flushed this out, or is she just being edited in this manner? But
Ah,
what she said is not
hmm,
giving me much hope that she has really flushed this out. And she doesn't listen to mama. Even mama is telling her, tone it down a little bit. You see, you're
hmm.
trying to get where mama is.
But
Mama,
you won't even listen to mama, and mama's the one that got to, with a place on the top of the mountaintop that you're admiring and looking up at, and you're not even listening to the person. If I was going to have a mentor, do you not know that I would be listening to my mentor, because my mentor knows what works?
exactly. She is where you are trying to be.
Right.
Listen, but it could be. I'm going to say this, mama. We understand. Some mamas understand. Sometimes we are not the messenger for our kids.
Correct.
We,
Now that is true too.
but
As
then we have Holly trying to give her the message and she still ain't listening.
Dolly, yeah, Dolly really is trying to
Sorry,
give her.
Dolly.
Yeah, no. Dolly is definitely trying to give her and Dolly got. I tell you what, it's worth watching this show if just to see Dolly give Sarah that side eye that she gives her. She is like a sister. When she get that side eye, she ain't playing. She like, wait a minute, because basically Sarah said to her, she said, "I'm not going to compromise on what I want."
And then she said maybe 5 years down the line, if I got nobody, maybe I'll compromise. Then
And,
5
and I'm
years would
thinking
be too
that's gonna
late.
be too late. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you're gonna be 41. Half of that is not gonna work. What children are you having? You can't have children at 40, 41, 42, let's say. But I mean, every year, again, these men that you're talking about, they look at women sometimes, some of them, as possessions, as arm candy. And each year you get older, you are losing your value like a car. Like a car loses its value every year, right? It drops typically, right? I mean,
Right. She
like,
wants to be a trophy wife, but the amount of years that you tack on, you lose your shine.
you lose your shine. But she thinks, I think this is the other thing with her. I figured out. I feel like she has an addiction to cosmetic surgery and enhancements. Those lips, the nose job, the boob job, all of these different jobs that she's having done. It's like for your mother in this picture right here, for her mother to look younger than her, I mean, really, to me, and more attractive in this picture, and you're like, she's got what, 20 plus years on you. That's
Mama
saying
look,
something.
Mama look fresh faced. I'm telling you, we need,
Good. Good.
we need to see Mama dating in Singapore. See, that's where I would see the correlation. Mama will find ton more success
I bet
than
you she
Sarah.
would. Those men, because she's dressed very dainty, very ladylike, not overdoing it. The makeup is not overdone. You can see she's got a little blush on, little mascara, a little eyeliner, but nothing is overdone. And certainly not the lips. Even if she does have a little bit of filler, it was done tastefully. And I
Right.
don't
We,
know
we
who.
definitely would. I would love to see Mom
Mm,
because, Mama's dress is very nice and dainty, like Harold's date was. So I can
yes,
see Mama being
yes, exactly.
attractive to the gentleman here.
Right, exactly. I'm going back to see if I can find a picture where you can see a little bit more of the dress. Let me remove this comment from the stage. You can see a little bit more of her dress. It's very ladylike and dainty, and you are absolutely right. It does kind of remind us of Singapore Amber's dress. It does.
Yes,
It
yes,
absolutely does.
definitely. But again, once she starts striking out, Sarah will definitely, make a change or an adjustment. But you know what? I think next episode, she's going to get what she wants, and we're going to
Mhm.
see if that's going to pan out.
Ah, okay, okay. And Dolly doesn't always just have criticisms for her daters. She also said, "Give me a high five," because she was very proud of Sarah for eating the frog porridge. Right?
Right. She was proud of her for actually, hey, you're eating this fruit that's, admittedly rank, and you also ate the frog bowl. Awesome. She is very proud of her. And this is where I would say too, I'm proud of Sarah, is like if you are looking for a man in Singapore, you've got to know, the diet and what do they eat and still be open to trying it.
Right. 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 Exactly. You do have to do that. Um, let's see. One last comment to go to Africa is saying, I don't think many of them would see her as wife material or the woman that the wealthy men would want to take around their colleagues, associates, friends, etc., or to take to galas. That's an excellent point because it's not dating. And if you're going to be long term and to make a wife, you would need to fit into every aspect of that man's life, wouldn't you?
Exactly. You would have to fit in the successful man that she's talking about. You would have to fit into what To Go to Africa just said. His colleagues, his associates, mixers, and stuff like that, and his family as well. So again, if she looks, I hope Sarah did look at the wealthiest families of Singapore and see how they,
Their
portray
wives
themselves.
dress, yeah. The wife, like, go, like you said, do a little more research. And you say you want a husband that's wealthy. Okay, I'm sure a lot of the wealthy men in Singapore are already married. So pull up their family photos with the wife, or he's at the
Exactly.
gala and see what is any of them looking like you? Are they dressing like you?
She gonna have to scrub that IG. That's what I know.
Ooh, you seen it already?
Oh heck yeah! Even the picture that they showed us of her in the hotel room,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I
too
remember that.
much.
Yeah, yeah, it was a lot. Somebody said it like maybe OnlyFans for her instead. Like maybe she could up her income, still keep the Etsy page and do like OnlyFans, and that would be, the money. She can be independent and dress and look however she wants and wear all of these designer labels that's so important to her that she's not willing to make the necessary change.
Oh, hey, Sarah, you could be dressed like OnlyFans and still bejewel the jackets and stuff and charge them to buy that jacket that you just bejeweled on your OnlyFans. You could combine your businesses, Sarah. Don't limit yourself.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That is so clever. I never thought of that. She can have it in her description box. You can find these bedazzled nighties over here at my Etsy shop.
There you go.
You silly. But last but not least, we have to move on now to our girl, Monica. Monica has uh, decided to go. Her date has decided to take her on a rollerblading date, and like myself, she's never been rollerblading, and but she's having a good time. He tells her he will help her. They had a very warm greeting when they first met, and she even gave him a kiss on the cheek, even though she said, "Well, that's against my rules, kissing." Uh, but is it really, Elsie? Is it really against her rules?
Really? Really? She had her Cinderella moment and she put on the helmet backwards, which I thought was a cutesy moment.
That was cute. That was cute.
And she's just bubbly and laughing and everything. And I was like, okay, I know he liked that about her. She took to the rollerblading very well. When I first rollerbladed, it was the last time I rollerbladed. So I did not take to that. Now, roller skates, the four with my little stopper on the front, I'd be there. I'd be like, can I get the side by side special? But definitely, they had a good date, but kissing against the rules. She certainly was tasting his tonsils by the end of the date.
Hey, Miss Iffy, how you been? Yeah, Miss Iffy says to our point, many of these guests never do any research before going over to these foreign countries and looking for love. Don't do any research, right?
Right. They look like they're just putting them there.
Yeah. But I love the fact that she told him, we're breaking my rules, and then she kind of laughed it off and said, "Just kidding." So, what we talked about last week, was she going to kiss or not kiss on this first date with Bruno? Well, turns out she did kiss. Turns out they did kiss.
Another one that don't listen.
Doesn't listen to her very own highly paid, highly trained, highly successful matchmaker. She doesn't listen. And like, she liked Bruno. Now here's the thing. She had already talked in video chat with Bruno first before she met the guy that she met on her first date in Brazil, which was Bernardo, who was also handsome, intelligent, attractive, and definitely had the hots for her. But Bernardo told us that he wants to have children. And then he flipped it around and said, when she said, well, she's not having it anymore, he was like, oh, yeah, I'm cool with that. But did we really believe that?
No, I didn't.
I know I didn't either. Like, ain't no man telling you he want to have kids and he just playing. Ain't no man telling you that.
Unless he was playing about the kids just to because he thinks she wants kids. Some people do that.
I think at his age, I think he's 40, I believe, in his early 40s. He has no kids. He claims he has no children. I don't think men at that age. Now, and I will go back and I will retract that statement, because boys say they want to have kids and they have no intention of being around. So, just beware about that. But I'm talking about this guy at 40 something, Bernardo, not this one right here, but the other guy, Bernardo. I think when he said that, I feel like, I could be wrong, I do feel like he really meant that. He wants to have children because he doesn't have any. He wants a wife and children.
I believe it. I believe he wants it, but he also wants to be with Monica too.
Yeah, he wanted to be with her intimately, but that don't mean he want to be with her again. Are we talking about intimacy? Or are we talking about wife and her?
I think he wanted the intimacy, but not the ring.
That's
the other guy, y'all. The other guy, her first date.
The other guy. Yeah, Bernardo, the one that took
this
his shirt
one.
off.
I like this one. I like him.
I do. And you know what? And here's the thing. Her lady told her, Louisa told her, she said, you know what? She told us in a confessional, I like Bruno better for her because you know what? He is firm on what he wants, and he's not flip-flopping, and he's not wavering, and he's ready for love.
Yes, and he is that. He was very clear. She asked him about kids. He said, "Nope. His life is great the way it is. He does not want any kids. He is a journalist. Um, and he just, wants to find a partner that he can, live out the rest of his life with and enjoy life." I really did like their conversation. He was very intentional in the conversation. He was asking her questions as well.
He was really trying to get to know her, and she was very open and good about answering his questions as well as he was with her, because she did ask him, like you said, what do you do for a living? He's a journalist, but he says right now currently he works as a business consultant, but his specialty is journalism. And I can see that because a lot of my friends that are journalists and trained for journalism have moved over to PR work, so things
Right.
like that. Because they're
It
good
does
with their
go.
words.
Yeah, it kind of can, complement each other. But he was letting her know that he does like her. He was affirming her. He was very, very well, with her. He was, asking about what food have you eaten from Brazil. He was immediate in, "I need another date. Would you do dinner with me tomorrow night?"
Tomorrow he wanted to go out with her tomorrow, and she was like, "Well, I don't know, I may have other plans tomorrow." I did like that, even though for her she wasn't playing coy. I did like that she said, "I have some other things, but yes, we can get together."
Right.
uh
She doesn't know what the show and everybody has for her, but she did said it well.
I'm sorry, go. I'm
You
sorry, I'm
you
laughing.
finally reading that? You finally reading that?
Yeah, because I wasn't reading that, but I see what she's saying. And that's, you know what? I think that wouldn't have been a bad idea. If you could get it past TSA security and
You
they're okay
can.
with it, I would think so. I would think so. And if not, you could have brought a bullet. But yeah, and I don't
Don't
mean to
have the
cut,
batteries in it.
and I
Okay? Don't have the batteries
don't
in
have the
it.
batteries in it. And listen, I was gonna say the bullet. No, I don't mean one that goes in a pow pow. I don't mean that kind of bullet. Okay.
We're talking about battery operated boyfriends, y'all. Battery
Yeah.
operated boyfriends is a Bob.
Is a Bob. Okay, right. Because this is what, and that's what I was thinking. To go to Africa, her hormones are out of control. Hopefully, she brought a Bob, battery operated. What is it? Boyfriend?
Yep.
Battery operated boyfriend or Bob with her, so that she can be less stressed when she sees these men. Yeah, and not be so moved by her urges to have intimacy, because I don't know when the last time she had intimacy, but it seems like with each date, because they are attractive and they are attracted to her, it seems like she moves right into the kissing. And even like the last guy, Bernardo, I was almost thinking they were going to end up in her room. I really did.
Right. Why does he know what your room number is?
I know. Right, exactly. More motivated more by lust than love. And that's the thing. And that's why her matchmaker was telling her no kissing on the first date. That used to be a rule here in the States. Like, at least when I was growing up, and my friends, always we knew no kissing on the first date. There's a reason for that.
And the reason the matchmaker is telling her that is you'll be dating many people. Do you want to be kissing many people? Because also
Ew, ew,
physical touch clouds your
the
judgment. So
judgment.
that's why
Yep.
she's telling her, and it's exactly why she ends up where she ends up at the end of the episode.
Right. And we got to get to that. So, she's had this wonderful day with this man, and she has promised him a second date. He's absolutely enamored with her. He wants a second date. And, that's a lot of times in the dating world, that's a big block, just getting through the first date to move on to the second date. Because, some of these women have only had first dates. I think that's our other dater. Can't think of her name, the one with the glasses.
I
That's
know what you're speaking about.
in Ireland. Okay. Um,
Victoria.
Victoria, yes, thank you for that. Victoria, yeah, you just got to see past the lust and look at the person for who they are. Like, is this somebody you could spend the rest of your life with? But anyway, she gets home, she gets back to the hotel, Monica does, and this woman she's just crying. She's emotional. She's all over the place. She's like, I feel like I cheated. I had a responsibility to Bernardo. I owed him my life because we met one date and we kissed. What did you think about that? Like, all this responsibility that she felt toward him, and like she was cheating. What was your reaction to this?
Now, I do not condone violence, but this is a scene in a movie. If you've seen Moonstruck with Cher and Nicolas Cage,
A long
they have
time
a
ago.
scene where she smacks him and says, "Snap out of it." That's what I wanted to do to Monica. Snap out of it. You just kissed the dude. I mean, you have no commitment to Bruno or this other gentleman. I'm sorry, I blanked out because I'm so hot, about this. Well, you have no commitment to either one of these men. So
Right.
you kissing both does not mean you are cheating on the other. You have not chosen.
Right. You have not chosen, nor have you asked to be chosen. The men haven't picked you. They haven't directly came out and said, "I want you to be my woman. I need you to be exclusive. Let's make this happen. I'm looking for a wife. I'm looking for a long term. I'm willing to move to California, across the world, halfway across the world." Nobody has said none of this kind of stuff. And she's
None.
all emotional and crying, and so what really surprises me, so she's crying and she's talking to us in a confessional about how she feels this way, and a lot of this emotion is tied to the fact that she was cheated on before, and so
She's being triggered. So that tells me she has
yes,
not dealt with this. She's being
yes,
triggered. And
yes.
and this is the thing.
Thank you.
Since she already knew of Bruno,
Hmm.
since she already saw the video, of him, and she really liked him, why would she be, carrying on with Bernardo like that? That's the thing. She knew Bruno was coming up.
She did.
She's giving me the I'ma just do what I want to do, and then I'm gonna cry about the consequence or cry about it later. It's like, why are you guilt-ridden? You just kissed the dude. You did no more than you did with your first date.
Right. They didn't. He didn't even walk her to her, he didn't even go up to her hotel room. So he doesn't even know. Bruno does not know where her hotel room is, what the number is.
Bernardo could have been passing by because they were outside by the market. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of that, you see the previews for next week.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about that. But I got a little bit more to say on this lady right here. So, she's so upset. This is her solution to this. Now, mind you, I want to lay this on you first. She says to us in the confessional, somebody's going to get hurt. One of these men is going to be hurt. And I'm thinking to myself, no, fool, it's going to be you that's going to be hurt. You're the one that's going to be hurt because of your reckless behavior. Your matchmaker told you, quit allowing lust to rule over you. Quit allowing all these kissing to cloud your judgment. But she did it anyway. Well, so guess what she does? She's home. It's 11 o'clock. She picks up the phone. Bring, bring, bring. Bernardo. She's sounding all sad. Bernardo. He's like, how was your day? How was your day? And he's in a very cheery voice. She was like, well, Bernardo, I got something to tell you. Baby, listen, I went on another date. And I just couldn't go to bed. I couldn't go to sleep until I told you, baby. I kissed the man a couple of times. And I'm thinking to myself, you kissed him more than a couple of times. You kissed him like 6-7 times. But okay. I kissed him a couple of times, Bernardo. And well, are you going to say anything, Bernardo? And Bernardo's like, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to do?
Right. Because he knows you are here to date. He knows you are here dating. He is not under the illusion that he is the only person you're going out with or the only person kissing. Like Lou told us with Tony, the Brazilian men go with the flow. And he was flowing at that time. He know you flowing in another direction.
She really flowing. And he knows that. Like you said, he's not under any misconceptions that she came all the way from another country just to see him, because she didn't even have a video chat with him. At least what we see from the edited version of this show, she had the video chat with Bruno.
Well, it wasn't a chat. She just saw his video kind of interview with the matchmaker.
Okay. I stand corrected. Yes, you're right. It was a video. But I mean, she really connected with what he said. And in fact, not only her mother was sitting next to her and her daughter was sitting on the other side. They all liked what Bruno was saying. We don't know.
She knew Bruno was coming up.
She knew that day with Bruno was coming up. So why get all kissy face with old boy over here, Bernardo? You could have had a second date with Bernardo where you could have tried out the kiss. But
exactly.
You didn't do that. So you calling up Bernardo now, and Bernardo on the phone. He like, what do you want me to do?
Right. He wouldn't have he wouldn't have cared if the go with the flow thing if you did more than kiss with. with
You
the
should
other
have kept
gentleman.
that to yourself. One of those incidences and times and moments. If she was my girlfriend, I would have been like, "Girl, you a knucklehead. You should have kept that information to yourself."
Do you think the men are telling you everybody they kissing?
No,
Shoot.
no, no.
Stop it, Monica. Stop it. Stop
Stop it.
it.
Stop it. Now
Stop the
on.
kissing. Stop the crying. Stop it.
Stop being so emotional. Stop being led by your JJ around town. Like, everybody looks good. I'm getting all moist and I got to kiss them. Stop that. Grow up. You're 40 something.
According to Tony, she ain't had a date in 20 some years.
But that, you know what? And that's why. And apparently she must not have a bob.
It must be. Well, anyway. I don't know if she's that conservative. We'll find out.
Wait a minute. Rule number 1 as single women in 2025, always Miss Iffy with your. This is a globetrotter, by the way. This is my friend over in London, and she has tried. What is it? 40 countries for your 40th birthday. She is very well traveled. Always use your bob before going on a blind date, as you don't want your judgment clouded in case of physical attraction. Monica is just a plain old mess. Absolutely.
She is a mess, and she a mess sitting there trying to cry and make this phone call, in the middle of the evening when, Bernard probably on a date with someone else.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. She was like, "You being quiet." Because he probably had to go in the other room. Like his date is sitting there. He like, "I can't be talking to you with my other date. These men are dating other women, you dumb. Are you kidding me? You don't know that. You don't know that from America. You don't know that from over here in the U.S. You don't know it goes probably twice as much because the Brazilian women are already telling us that a lot of the Brazilian men are for the streets.
So my thing with that is, she's probably a habitual monogamist, and she probably doesn't date multiple people at the same time.
Yeah, and I can see that.
So if that is not true, I am giving her a good old Singapore side eye, because she can't be carrying on like this if she's used to dating multiple people at the same time.
Right.
But she's just making my thing is, you did it. You participated.
Nobody forced you. The guys didn't come in out of the blue, and while your eyes were averted somewhere else and just plant a kiss on you, you leaned into the kiss with them. You saw it coming and you leaned into it, and you was all into it.
Multiple times.
Multiple, not once.
So now you're thinking about it.
Twice.
Right. Yes. Now you're thinking about it. Now you want to develop a conscience about it. No, stand on your square. You're grown. We're gonna hear that word again. You are grown, and you've kissed 2 men. You got to deal with that to yourself, because them 2 men ain't worried about each other.
They not. And here's the other thing, what I want her to do. Do you feel like, I got to ask you this, do you feel like she did a good job of vetting Bruno in this date? Do you feel like she did enough talking before they got to all the lip and tongue action again?
No, she just went for it. She did get good information, but I still don't think she got enough. She got his job. He doesn't want any kids, but she didn't really get his family, his day-to-day life. There's so many other things that she's asking for. I didn't hear her ask if he's Catholic. She certainly asked the first dude if he
did. That was the whole big reason why she said she wanted to go to Brazil. But do we believe that just because it's has the largest population of Catholic people in the world, do we believe that she really went there for just that? Or did she go there because she feels like Brazilian men are fine?
Because Brazilian men are fine. And she just met 2 fine ones, and she tasted the tonsils of both of them.
Tasted the tonsils. I love what to go to Africa says. I don't know if the men will ever see her as a potential wife or as a lustful and promiscuous woman trying to recapture her youth. And satisfy her fantasies.
Catholic Church can't help you with that one.
I don't know. We're going to find out, because like this whole thing, like I just feel like even if I felt guilty, if she felt guilty, I feel like maturity would have told her, you don't need to tell him this information. This is not information. He does not have a need to know, right?
Don't need to know. And he sound like he don't want to know.
No, he did. We're going to find out next week how that conversation winds up, because she was supposed to have another date with Bernardo. I think Bernardo probably will still go out with her, and he gonna come right up to that room and get what he want and be done with her.
He already know the room number.
He does, and he already know that she hot for him. She hot, hot, hot. Somebody said it hot to try.
Yeah, that's what I said. But he also knows he's playing a position because she said, "Oh, he texts me all the time. We communicate all day." No, he is making sure there's no room for another man to have your time.
Exactly. That last thing, and then we're gonna get to next week's stuff. Um, that 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 right there. When she said we talk every day, this was in her confessional when she's doing all this boo-hooing. She says, Bernardo and I, that's the first match. We talk every day, all day. I thought to myself, I said, now who has time? I know you on vacation in Brazil, but I would be out seeing the sights, meeting the locals, learning about the culture from women, not just men. I want to talk to the women in the village and the women in town. What would this be like? What if I want to visit here? He has to come back to see his family. Does he want to come to the US, or does he want to stay in Brazil? All of these things she's not following up on, but she got time to sit up and text message and talk with this guy all day long.
I don't understand it.
I don't either. I don't understand it. I don't understand that if you in your regular life, because when you go back to your regular day to day, and that's too much, and now you got job responsibilities, you got children responsibilities, you got keeping the house straight responsibilities, you are not going to have that same amount of time. And now you set this person up to feel like, well, she stayed on the phone with me all day and night before. Why is she not doing that now?
I don't know.
And
I don't know. She just is screaming to me immature with this, and we gonna see it with the next one.
And yeah, Miss Iffy says she's coming across really as naive, because them 21 years she's been out the dating market, she don't know how much dating has changed. Dating has changed tremendously in 20 years. It definitely.
You better tell her.
And there is pee and a little bit of poo in the dating waters. Okay,
Whole lot,
in my opinion. Now, about what's coming up for some of the season, because I think some of these weren't necessarily just next week, but some of them took us out. Our girl Amber was going off. She was cussing up a storm. I said, dang, the Texas thing came out in her. The Texas thing came out. She ain't smiling, grinning, laughing with that big wide smile on her. She was cussing somebody the F out. Who was it?
I think it's a new date. I put that thing in slow motion. I don't think it's Kevon. I think it's a new date that she has, because we did see in last week's previews that she is going to go on a date with someone else other than Kevon.
Yeah, but she said he disrespected her, and she does not play in that disrespect. Like, I'm thinking to myself, what did he say, the N word? What slipped out his mouth?
I don't know what came out of his mouth, but the thing is that, when Amber is so bubbly, just like Monica is so bubbly, I wonder what is the other side of that emotion. We see Monica crying and weeping, and then we see Amber now, throwing a glass and breaking it on the floor. I am very worried, because she was always Miss Bubbly.
Right. Always Miss Bubbly, always Miss Easy to get along. Even when the guy served her the poo tea and showed her how his compost worked in his toilet that doesn't flush, like it's not a modern plumbing at all. He lives out on the land, off what do you call off the grid? He lives off the grid. He was still smiling and laughing and going along with it. The only time we knew that wasn't agreeable to her was when she finally got in that van to get back home, and she was like, oh no, never again. Never again.
Never again.
Yeah, she did. She called him the B word. You're right. So I don't know. I guess who she's talking to. I want to know what he did. I want to see all of that. Don't edit none of that out. I want to see what he called it. Because did he call it the N word? Because then I'm gonna be upset too. Okay. Don't call me.
We all would. We'll be on something smoking in Ireland.
Yeah, because I'll come get your gingery butt, okay, over there in Ireland, okay? And what else? What else did we see that's coming up for this season? It looks good. It looks very juicy.
Well, Monica has to put on her big girl pants and talk to both men, because her matchmaker said she invited both men that she kissed to have a conversation.
Yes. What do you think about that? I thought that was so great. I'm like, yes. Now you wanted to tell the one guy that you was kissing on the other guy. So now tell the other guy that you was just kissing, that you was kissing this guy, and let them both know. And you know what they're gonna do is like, are they gonna duke it out? You think they're gonna duke it out?
Heck no, they ain't duking nothing out. They ain't duking it out. I think they're grown. They know they are both clients of the matchmaker. They have been through this before. So they know they are going to be dating several people. And they know she's going to have to pick between the two men. I see the two men coming in there, shaking each other's hands. I mean, giving each other a little measure, you know.
Yeah.
Both confident men.
Sizing each other up. Right. Yeah, they do seem very confident.
They're both confident men, but the first one, Bernardo, I think he may have an issue because he may know he coming from behind the 8 ball. Because I'm sorry, he's screaming more thirsty to me because all the texting all day and calling all day.
Yeah.
I'm like, is this the only woman you're speaking to, or you
Not
just?
only that, what about your job? What about your job? Do you go to work? Do you work a job where you actually do stuff?
Well, apparently not.
He's not on holiday. She is. I can see her having all this free time, but he is not on holiday. He's at home. He got bills to pay. Is this how he pays?
Is he a personal trainer too, or something?
Oh yeah.
So he may have a lot of free time between clients or between reps.
Oh yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. With that. Okay, he's his own boss too. You're right.
Right, but I just the constant is like he wants to win. You know, so his feelings might be a little hurt. You know, if he's not chosen, but I think he'll still be chill.
Oh, Miss Iffy might be onto something. She says Bernardo is love bombing Monica and wants that visa. That's you know what? It's funny you said that, Miss Iffy, because when we first met him last week, I was thinking that. Like, you know, yeah. Some of these men, you gotta have some consideration. Do you think, Elsie, that a woman coming from the U.S. should have some consideration as some of these guys are trying to get out of their own country, where the economy, we talk about our economy is bad, but the economy around the world, in some places you just can't, right? The standard of living in the United States is higher than a lot of places. Do you think that maybe either one of these guys could be in it for a visa?
Either one, but then again, I will blame that on the individual and the matchmaker. That should be on your questionnaire. Are you willing to move to Brazil, Monica? Or, gentlemen, is your expectation to move to the U.S. if you find someone? You know, you have to have that on the questionnaire so you can pair people up appropriately. Not saying that things don't change, but at least you would know if the expectation is to leave the country. Because it doesn't look like Bernardo wants to leave the country.
Yeah. You think he does or he doesn't? Say
Not
that again.
Bernardo. This current dude. Bruno. See the two B words and both ending in O. Bruno. Mm-hmm. I don't think he wants to leave the country. I think he is quite satisfied with being the consultant, being the journalist. I think he seems quite content with it. Bernardo, I don't know, because a personal trainer, a Brazilian personal trainer with an accent over there in California, he definitely is marketable.
Oh yes, I see where you're going with that. He would be very marketable. Yes, he's quite attractive. Both men are very attractive, but yeah, I did feel like it was some love bombing going on. To your point, Miss Iffy,
I like Bruno.
I like Bruno too. I think Bruno is much more intentional. And now that the Brazilian women done hip this to the real talk, that these Brazilian men are just go with the flow. They're very non-committal. They have the same issues apparently over there that we're having over here in the States.
But I need Bruno to put his hands down. Stop making them hand hearts, okay? Stop making them hand hearts.
Oh yeah, that you know what that talk about love bombing. I was kind of like, okay, is that maybe not so much love bombing, but that he does speak English, but is that his shorthand way of saying, yeah, it's a little bit much? Because usually you see that with women. I don't see too many men doing I don't know if I've ever seen a man do the heart thing.
I've seen them, but on social media, not in date, and not in real life, but that could be just my circle.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't met many people in the DMV in the US from Brazil. Oh, you have. I think that was half. Many of them seem content remaining in Brazil. Okay. Okay. I mean, I think that's a thing. Like it's a thing that there's going to be always in any country because there's family there, right? And if you pick up and leave, unless your family has already moved and immigrated to the U.S., there's always going to be people that want to stay due to family. They love their country, they love their culture, they love their language. They don't want to have to learn English, or they just know a little bit or whatever. I agree with that. I think there are always people that will want to stay, but there are a number of people too that are trying to get over here, and that's in most places that aren't first world countries. And I know we're not supposed to be using that now. What is the new word for first world countries and not third world countries?
Just country with a different
Well,
economic scale.
well developed. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, because we would fit into that, and unfortunately, and then plus, I will say this: a lot of people around the world only see America from movies and TV, right? And social media. And they have this fantasy of what America really is, and that everybody's driving around in a Maserati and everybody living in a mini mansion or something like that. A lot of people, you would be surprised, they don't know till they come here and they're like, oh, it's you don't live in a mansion?
I think
Where's
social media and these reality shows have showed people something else.
Yeah, yeah, those that watch it though, because remember, not everybody is watching this.
Shoot, they better do their research, like we asking these participants.
Hmm.
They better
Right.
do that research.
I think so. Did we see anything else? What did we see? Victoria. Was Victoria shown her clips
Yeah,
of her?
Victoria was stood up, or maybe the guy didn't show up, and she said it makes her feel vulnerable. When
Yeah,
she lets her guard down, and she doesn't really like that. So he triggered her by him not showing up.
yeah, she does look like she is triggered. Well, she's always got jokester boy. She's always got him. He wants a second date.
He's a financial analyst. He's doing well. He paid 400 quid for that horn.
I like what you said when I was giving up on prankster boy. You were saying no, she needs to just communicate, use her words, and tell him, honey, you know, it's fine. You play these pranks on your friends, your male friends, but when we're on a date, you know, ixnay on the prank stay.
Hey, in any relationship, we got to have our tells with our significant other. If we're in a mixer and we don't like the person we're having a conversation with, we have a look. We come save me.
Oh yeah,
We
right.
have
Okay,
a
to
look.
look for
So,
each other. Okay, yeah, I see what you're
right.
saying.
So in several instances, sometimes the wife will kind of squeeze the knees to say, honey, that's enough of that story. Let somebody else get a chance to talk, or wrap it up. We don't always have to play Grammy music, but we all have a wrap up conversation,
Absolutely.
or a tell, or a signal to say wrap up the story or come save me.
Yeah, and because what is that? What that tell? You're right. Okay, that that is. I'm just looking. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do too many things at one time. But Miss Iffy, you over there waving the red flags. I see you. I see you. I see you. She's saying that the love bombing, like all of the having all this time for one woman after you've only had one date. You guys haven't had two, three dates. You don't know if this is really going to be your person, but you are already out here just giving all this time to this one lady. Do you see what she's saying?
I totally see what she's saying. I totally agree with what she's saying.
Hmm.
Because again, why are you so attached to me like a barnacle? And I've only just passed by one time.
Yeah, yeah, and then also like she caught it like we did too. She clocked it that if he said he wanted to have children, he was all excited, and all of a sudden, and this is a man 40 years old with no children, according to him, no children of his own. And I just don't know too many men, first of all, that are 45 and under, that don't have any kids, want to be married or committed, and they're not going to want you to have their baby. I don't know those men. That's my circle. I don't know those men.
Well, I mean, we just met Bruno.
Yeah, that's true. Now Bruno does it, but I'm saying, but that's one person. But I'm just saying, by and large, when men are of a certain age, and I'll go even as high as 50. If he's saying he doesn't have children, oftentimes that's why he's dating the 30-year-old, because he still wants to have children.
Okay, some men do, but your our circles are different. I would say that.
I would agree. I would agree. And I know there are men, what I'm saying, I'm not saying there aren't men that don't want to have children. I know men also that have had children and then they went and had a vasectomy because they don't want to have any more. But I'm just saying for a man to have 0 kids, I'm always looking at that. I'm always going to look at that and really suss that out because at for him to only be 41 and say that he doesn't want to have kids, he did want to have kids, but then he didn't. That's really suspect to me.
Well, my one of my other shows, Alone, that's on the History Channel, the survival shows. One of
Mhm.
the men got me really mad, not at him, but his situation. His sister, unfortunately, passed away just a few years ago,
Oh.
and of a terminal illness.
Mhm.
And he said it's really the reason why he's here too, doing the challenge to win $500,000 to help his
Mhm.
family, because he also is raising her 2 kids.
Oh yeah, I remember you talking about
when
that.
when
Okay.
when right when he's why he's raising her 2 kids is because her husband, after she passed away,
Hmm.
left the kids with him, and he went off to marry somebody else and have kids with someone else. I have questions. I'm mad at that man, but I have questions about that, because
Oh,
he
so
said it's like the
go ahead.
children lost both parents because the sister's husband, the children's father, is having nothing to do with them.
Oh, so the mother passed away, but the father isn't also deceased because that's what I thought at first when you said the
No, the
uncle was
father went
raising the
off
kids.
and married someone else and had kids with someone else. Started
Started
a
a whole
family,
nother family.
whole
Okay.
other family.
Hmm.
I was ticked off because now you've left, your ex brother-in-law, struggling to raise your 2 kids from your first marriage. I was hot about that.
I bet you were. I would be hot about it too. Like this guy is out here doing all of this for, his niece and nephew, which are important, but like, does that even leave him time? What about if he has his own kids? What
Yeah,
about
he
if
has
he
his own kids. He has a wife and he has a grandchild. So his kid was old
Wow.
enough to have a grandkid. So again,
Oh, okay.
I heard his story and I was just like, I have questions about who who your sister husband was.
Right. Who
That to
does
me,
that? Who does that?
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And
What?
his wife, his new wife, having his new kids, it triggered me the way Brian McKnight's story triggered me. So I'm
Oh my
like,
gosh. Oh my gosh.
please,
Yes.
but we won't go there.
We won't go there, girl, because we. Ooh. But tell us about what's going on your channel. Tell the people where they can find you and what you got going on.
So I am Elson932 on YouTube. As you heard, I'm covering History Channel's Alone, a survival show where people are dropped off. This time it's South Africa. It's usually the Antarctic, where they are to survive, and whoever stays out there the longest wins $500,000.
Ooh, that's
I
a
do
lot of
that
money.
recap. Yep, I do that recap, and it's usually published Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Tomorrow night I'm doing King's Court, the recent episode where the 3 kings are looking for a queen, and 4 new queens enter the kingdom. um
Yes. I was
side
thinking, I was like, I thought it was 7, but okay. All right.
No, it's more this week, and we have more coming.
Okay. Okay. That's how they
Fridays
broke it
I
up.
do unscripted, where the chat leads the conversation. We talk about whatever the chat want to talk about, and I think we're going to talk about, this week we're going to start with household items that, different things you can use for not buying like sprays for, getting flies. What you could use, basic household items to
Oh.
probably do that, because we had a conversation earlier. But whatever the chat wants, and there's a musical segment where there's always a conflict, which what is the top 10 songs of this decade.
I saw that. I noticed my boy Prince made the list several times, but go ahead.
Exactly. So unscripted, the last one, if you see the confetti on the party, we cannot play songs, but we certainly can talk about them on YouTube. So that was my party to thank everyone for helping me reach above 500 subscribers. So the channel is at the first level of monetization. So we did 60s, 70s, and 80s decade top 10 songs and top 10 R&B. So unscripted is all about the chat and what they want to do. And I have unsolicited advice. It's on a hiatus right now, but it's on a hiatus because but there are 30 episodes for you to catch up on for when it comes back. Because I am covering
Project Runway season 21,
Oh, that's
because
gonna be
Law
good.
Roach is a judge. And I love the image architect, Law Roach. So there is lots of stuff happening on my channel. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notification bell, because Saturday at about 5 o'clock is when we're going to cover Project Runway. All we're going to do, we're going to say what the challenge is, and we're going to hit. We're going to hit straight to the fashion.
Okay, guys. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock, Miss Iffy. I'm usually on at 5 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thank you for that. And I am so glad to have you here. First of all, El Cid, I'm also so glad to have all of our viewers that made it out tonight and that commented in the comment section, or even if they were in the bushes. I see AK Point of View is here. Thank you. So I appreciate everybody, what you do for this channel. I will make this announcement. I don't have the thumbnail up yet, but in a either today or tomorrow I'll get it up. We will be coming back. JR and I will be coming back on our usual time on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 o'clock, Miss Iffy, if you're in London, because we're gonna talk about these Ready to Love folks. We're gonna talk about why was the season broken half? Whose brilliant idea was it to break the Ready to Love Philly season in half? I don't understand. Do you understand, LC?
No, and Tommy's live with Ashley last week. He don't know. He said he don't make them decisions. Stop asking him.
Stop asking him. You heard that? Well, I'm gonna venture out and say this, and I think I might have mentioned it once before. This will be my last season covering Ready to Love, and JR, I want you to come with me. We're gonna do something else, but this is gonna be my last season. I'm more into either 90 Day Fiance or the 600-pound life, and Love After Lockup. I'm going in a different direction because Ready to Love it's too unstable. I'm sorry. What do you guys think? It's just too unstable.
Hey, I understand. I understand why you would say that. They are doing a press tour right now just to bring people back to the viewership. So I understand.
Yeah, and it's some other reasons. You and I have talked offline about that, and I won't get into all of them. But I think it's time too. I think it's time for me personally to go after this season. I want to finish up what I started, what Jay and I started, and then you're more than welcome to come in sometimes as a special guest, El Cid, and chop it up with us, especially as we get to the reunion show, because that's always interesting. So maybe you'll come and chop it up with us. Miss Iffy, you're welcome too. You're welcome to come. So guys, we have had a ball. We thank you for being here. Please like the video, please share the video, and please subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.